These are all things I have personally experienced dating. Yikes. Yeah, sure it is, OP. I definitely believe that many women have been interested in someone like you. You seem like a real catch. Came to this thread afraid I'd see something I'm inadvertently doing as a red flag because I can be a little socially awkward. Leaving this thread feeling more normal than ever. Holy crap, guys, I'm sorry you're meeting these women. All I see here is a green flag, trying to make sure you aren't a bad person or trying to improve yourself. There are some good ones here, like mistreating servers, making it clear she sees you as a source of money and expensive gift, or carrying on about an ex. I don't want to just repeat what everyone else is saying. So my red flag is anyone who seems to be constantly on or have something they're trying to prove. If they can't just relax and stop trying to show what an edgelord / victim / not like other girls or whatever sort of character they're trying to convince you they are, being around them is going to drain you every time. It's not worth the pee to me. I like genuine, real people who aren't constantly putting on some show. Hey, OP, maybe also just give people a break. First dates are stressful and people sometimes put on airs because they're just nervous. Maybe don't be so frickin' judgmental and give people a shot. When you're dating a girl for a few months who has a small appetite, but over time you've realized her stomach is increasing in size. Finally, you make a joke and she breaks down crying, saying she was hard and really loves / needs you. So being nice and understanding, you stay with her because you feel you can raise a child and willing enough to do anything it takes. Until you bring it up to a mutual friend and he refuses to look at you. You begin pestering him about it until he spills the beans and reveals she cheated on you in the beginning of the relationship because she thought you guys wouldn't last long and she's going to use the baby as leverage to keep both of you together and use you for life. You get to her house, tell her everything you know, and all she says is, "Who told you?" In the end, you leave her and all of her friends questioning your entire existence. The next year, you meet a wonderful girl by chance and have now been going strong for 2 years. That's a really long first date. In all seriousness, though, that's a terrible ordeal and it sounds like it really affected you. Counseling / therapy might not be a bad idea if there's lingering bitterness. Bringing up crazy things she did to guys in past relationships. It doesn't make me think you're savage or cool, it makes me think that's going to happen to me. When they ask you to pay for something for them or suggest that you do it for the next time. Went out with a girl for a really bad date. There was almost zero chemistry between us. Things got slightly better as the date progressed, but I still wouldn't even say it was in my top 100 dates, and I don't think I've ever had that many. I offer to drop her off on our way out and she agrees. On the way to her place, we saw an ad for The Incredibles 2 and to strike up a conversation, I asked her if she liked those films. She said she did, and then said that we should go see it next time we go out. Then she added, "But you'll pay for my ticket, right?" I laughed and didn't say anything because I assumed she was joking, and she said with a serious tone, "Don't be cheap, you've got a nice car. It's clear you make good money, you can afford to pay for my ticket." She was out of my sights the second she said that. I just laughed again and said, "Sure, we can do that." I dropped her off and never contacted her again. I went on a date with a girl who ordered a steak and a cheesecake and then proceeded to eat them at the same time, like in the same bite. Look, I get weird food combinations, but if you're going to make that combination on the first date, there's a strong chance you have some bodies under your floorboards. That almost sounds good. Might have to try that. Not on the first date, but my ex broke up with me because I wasn't putting enough into the relationship. I didn't buy her a 4-month anniversary present, then begged to get back together with me and continued to complain that I didn't buy her things. Excuse me, lady, that I just found out my cat is ill and need to pay for her meds. Presents can wait. I'm so glad that relationship is over. Late to the party, but here goes. I messaged a girl a couple of times on a dating app and never heard from her again. I thought that was the end of it. About 2 weeks later, she randomly answers saying sorry for not reposting, but she was in a car crash and blah blah, even sent me a picture of a crashed car. This set off some alarms, but I figured frick it. So we chatted a bit and she wanted to meet up to smoke some weed and she was cute, so I figured why not? I arrive at her place and she gets in the car muttering something about her roommate taking a poop in the toilet and having a conversation with her while she's in the shower. Okay. As we were driving to a spot to smoke, she starts telling me about the car crash and how it was a drunk driver that hit her, and how my dad is a Hell's Angel, I'll so just get my dad and his buddies to pay him a visit. "Excuse me?" was all I said, and she repeated what she just said, this time implying some broken bones would be made and that she might even get her dad's Hell's Angel lawyer to sue him as well. Now, at this point, we have started smoking, so I was wondering if I was hearing her right. So I asked, "A Hell's Angel lawyer?" And she friggin' snapped back, "That's what I just said." So, needless to say, she was freaking me out major by this time, and I kept looking in my rearview mirror, half expecting to see her dad on his bike swinging a chain above his head. But nothing. She said some other crazy crap about working 4 jobs and that all of them were linked to the Hells Angels in some way, so after about 40 minutes of smoke and hearing her Hells Angels stories, I politely took her home, and my excuse was I had to be up early. I dropped her off and said it was nice meeting you with a smile and a wave. I cannot tell you how happy I was after I drove off. In fact, I was so happy to be away from the potential bike gang daughter that I started laughing my butt off. Full-on maniacal laughter. Just pure joy kind of laughing. I'll never forget how happy that laugh was, knowing I was going home to just my cat and not some crazy biker chick. Made me really appreciate being single for a while. Sweet Lord.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.
What screams, "I have a crush on you"? Story 1. When the girl turns her head to you, sees you looking at her butt, and gives you the frick me eyes. Story 2. Reading this thread makes me regret not pursuing the girl I had a crush on in middle school. Looking back, she obviously had a crush on me, and I still think she does. Every day she would wait for me at my desk in one of our classes, touch/play with my face, hands, and whatnot. I'd also always see her staring at me from the corner of my eye, and she would copy whatever pose I was holding. I hadn't seen her during our freshman year, but we caught up again sophomore year, and we actively texted that entire year and then some. Every now and then, she'll only DM me something, or even more rarely send me a text. Biggest regret of my life, because I still have a crush on her 7 years later. LOL. Wait, so ask her out. I'm confused. Have you cut contact now? Look, shoot your shot, folks. Be it now or later. Stop regretting. Start doing. With this, not with, dumb stuff. Story 3. When I was a teenager, there was a guy in my friends group who every girl had a crush on at some point in their life. He was obsessed with the color yellow and wore yellow constantly. You could tell who had developed a crush on him when that person started wearing yellow a lot all of a sudden. That never worked, though. He only ever dated one person while we were teenagers. They were together for almost 3 years, and she never did the yellow thing. Story 4. If they're really open to talking to you, that's a good sign. 4 points. 1, when I like a girl, I will repeatedly try to start up conversations. 2, when a girl likes me, she will always be extremely receptive to those attempts and conversations will billow very easily. 3, when a girl does not like me, she might answer my questions and be friendly with minimal eye contact. 4, when I do not like a girl who might like me, I won't be so inclined to perpetuate a conversation because I know how she might misconstrue that. 5, constantly smiling at you when you're around. It's important to them to remember details about things in your life. They bring up things in convos or conversations first via texting, touching their hair, slightly touching your arm when they laugh at something you said. They are engaged when you're speaking with eye contact and don't look away, mimicking what you do, how you sit, your mannerisms, etc. Their feet pointed towards you. Also good if you want to know if it's time to wrap up a convo in a one-on-one setting. Added a few things. I'm not trying to make fun, but a lot of these things are reading like an alien's guide to being friends with humans. The human might contort their face, raising the corners of their mouth. This is a sign of happiness. Story 6. Multiple glances or not being able to contain the smile when they look at you, especially if you don't even know them. Either that or there's some BS being said about you and everyone thinks it's funny. I love advice that is, when you see this thing, it is either good or bad. Useful. Story 7. When I was 23, there was this 12 to 13-year-old boy who always sat next to me on the bus on my way to work / his way to school. I didn't mind chatting to him because he was a nice kid, but I did suspect he had a bit of a crush on me because why else would he choose to sit and talk to an adult woman instead of sitting with kids his own age? He always carried a tuba case with him, so it was slightly awkward for him to sit next to me. I have to admit, there was something a bit flattering about a kid asking me all these questions about my life and looking up to me like I was the most interesting person in the world. One day, my boyfriend was riding with me to the city. We were holding hands and laughing quite obviously together. The kid got on, lugging his tuba case, and he saw the two of us and stopped dead in his tracks. He looked so crushed, and he never sat next to me or talked to me again. The look on his face, it really made me feel awful for him. I guess he had to get let down the hard way. Story 8. Well, in my case, I act super awkward around them and do the look away eye contact. I hate it because I want to be more natural and confident, but my body just goes full R. LOL. The good news is I can hide all that online, so Tinder is usually the preferred method of finding people. Story 9. Laughing at your terrible jokes. Story 10. There was a girl at work that I was always talked to about stuff. One day I came up to her and she had drawn me a really intricate drawing and put my name on it. Laminated it in packing tape and gave it to me. I had a huge crush on her but thought she was out of my league. We were just friends, even though we went on one date together after she had turned down another guy at work. I want to believe that she actually really liked me, but I still tell myself I'm reading too much into it and I'm an idiot. Can anyone tell me which is the case? I mean, can't it be both? Story 11. Making 100% sure that the person does not know you have the slightest interest in them. Story 12. Picturing life together after just interacting. I met a girl at boxing yesterday. She was new, so I offered to train with her. She seemed genuinely interested in my teaching. We both laughed a lot and had fun. I stayed after to get to know her. She signed up for more lessons, we went outside, and spent more time talking. She even gave me a compliment to my physique, and I think we indirectly made plans to train together again. Help, I'm 23 and the last crush I had was when I was 14, goddammit. You just met her. And yeah, sounds like you have a crush. So here's what you do. Train and get to know her like you would a friend and see if things blossom. Let this picturing life together infatuation die down a little, and then if there is still interest there, act accordingly. Story 13. Stalking their social media and accidentally liking an old post. Story 14. When they'll eat the oats right out of your hand. Story 15. When I always turn to directly face you when you speak. When I'll make excuses to spend more time with you. In high school, when I'd low-key risk punishment for staying out too late for no real reason but to finish a conversation with you, I'm crushing on you hard. Story 16. If he unfurls his plumage to reveal a colorful underlayer followed by an intricate mating dance. Story 17. Honestly, anything short of literally telling me I have a crush on you is lost on me. Edit. 85 replies and just shy of 10,000 upvotes within 15 hours. That's an Academy record. It's also my top comment. Story 18. Taking this opportunity to tell people to be more explicit when they like someone. Ages ago, a guy told me on MSN Messenger that there was a rumor we were dating and we both laughed about it. Years later, we are talking and find out we both had a crush on each other. We're too trapped scared to talk to each other about it, and broke each other's hearts when we started dating other people. I know, romance and blah blah blah, but just spell it out. Hard agree here, folks. Look, if you have developed feelings, let the person know. Worst case scenario, they don't feel the same way, and it's sad. But mainly facts, guy, I don't want to feel sad. Yeah, well, if you don't tell them, you'll never date, regret it, and be sadder longer. Usually, I know there are exceptions. Don't come at me in the comments. Story 19. I avoid them as much as possible. Story 20. Quick nervous glances, high pulse. The first successful extravehicular activity was performed on March 18th, 1965 by cosmonaut Alexei Leonov. Maybe a boner or something? I don't know, not my area of expertise. Story 21. 12-year-old who clears his throat and yells, I have a crush on you! Story 22. Is anyone else reading all these and planning to use them to A, figure out if you have a crush on anyone, B, avoid displaying any of them so no one thinks you have any subconscious bias, or C, deliberately use all of them on one person to freak them out as much as possible? Story 23. Touching the shoulders. I guess touching the shoulders. This advice is going to get someone in trouble with their masseuse. Story 24. In a mixed gender group of friends, and that one girl is happy to talk to every other boy normally, but gets quiet/shy when she talks to that one boy in the group. Story 25. Isn't pointing your toes at them obvious enough? Story 26. When laughing in a group setting, a person will generally try to make eye contact with the person there whose approval they most value. I'm trying to imagine someone making unblinking eye contact with me while they laugh, and that is a scene from a horror movie, not a romantic one. Story 27. Penetration. Story 28. Check for the number of Y's when they text you. It's called the Hey scale. Hey. Hi. Hey. I like you. Hey. Come buckets in me. Story 29. The only way I would ever know if you had a crush on me would be if you literally screamed, "I have a crush on you!" So pretty much just that. Story 30. When you make eye contact with someone and they immediately look away because they've been staring at you. Good to spot the person who has a crush on you or the hitman who has been tailing you for the last couple hours. Either way, run. Story 31. Drinking alone with you. Story 32. Stuttering in front of the person. Story 33. You wake up in the night to use the bathroom and they are standing outside your door, grinning. Story 34. When a guy pulls a girl's pigtails. That mostly applies to 10-year-olds. Story 35. Unknowingly smiling when talking to you. Lets you do all the talking and she does the laughing. Also if they stare at you or avoid looking at you. Yes, this does sound like how a kidnapped victim might act around their captor. Wait, a crush? Yeah, I suppose that too. I know I'm being a butt, but I can only read the same advice so many times without it starting to sound weird in my head. Story 36. Staring a lot and laughing at things they said that weren't funny. I did both with the last crush I had in 9th grade before he left the school because I was too creepy. He actually knew I liked him too, or he knew a girl with my name liked him. Either one, I had another guy tell him. And he said he liked her too and thought she was beautiful. He wasn't talking about me as evidenced by how creepy he thought I was. Story 37. Steamroller. That might be what makes you scream while it crushes you. Story 38. If you're walking past a girl in the office who's vigorously wanking and she shouts, "Frick me now, you fricking dirty fricker," at you when you walk past, that's a pretty good indicator, but don't quote me on it. Story 39. You know it's true love when they offer to show you their trebuchet. Story 40. When they tell you that somebody else kissed them and then apologize for it. We were kind of close, and I did kind of like him, but we never got around to ever confessing. One day last week of middle school, he tells me that another girl kissed him, and I was just like, okay. It was weird because we don't talk about that stuff. He was like, I would have felt guilty not telling you. I always thought that it would be you. At that moment, it was clear that he had a crush on me. Too long didn't read when they do something romantic or intimate with someone else and tell you in an apologetic manner. Story 41. Mixtape, or whatever the modern equivalent is. Story 42. Girl who is out of my league. You're cute. Her friend. She really likes you. Girl. Not positively good. Looking back, I think I could have done something about it. You think? Story 43. I always know a girl likes me when I make a crappy joke and she proper laugh at it. Playful hitting is also a good one, though less clear-cut than the last. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, some people just like crappy jokes. I laugh at the dumbest jokes, and I promise you, it isn't because I'm into the people telling them. However, I do have a crush on every person I've ever boxed, so the hitting one is solid. Story 44. Eye contact with an immediate turn away. That's just social anxiety. Every time I realize I'm making eye contact with someone, I think, oh crap, how long have I been making eye contact? Quick, to the middle distance! Story 45. If a woman has her legs behind her ears, it means she likes you. Story 46. Girls looking away or changing their body language quickly if you look toward them/notice them. Sometimes it means they've been checking you out. Not always. Yeah, sometimes it means they were just pulling a wedgie out and don't want to get caught. Story 47. Someone who has a crush on you isn't shy, is wasted, and doesn't hide their feelings. Story 48. When they go absurd lengths to deny it. Girl that lives on my street has a huge crush on me. She's gone to huge lengths to deny it, such as by threatening me with a restraining order, asking members of her family to tell me she's not interested, blocked me on all social media, and changed her number. Okay, sure, I believe you. You don't have a crush on me. Story 49. To me, no one. Story 50. I want you to frick me in the butt. Seriously, this was a real thing. Story 51. Saying dumb crap and always end up insulting your crush. To top off that embarrassment, not apologizing because that's 100% a tip-off that you like said person, and that defeat. No weakness. Story 52. As a friend, okay? Story 53. When I kidnap you and hold you captive in my basement. I feel like you could apply this to a few of the people who have commented on this thread. Story 54. The only thing that ever had a big crush on me was a landslide. Story 55. It's pretty simple, but if a person leans in while talking to you, it's usually a good indication. Story 56. I don't know if she had a crush on me or not. Maybe someone on here is a better judge than I am. I work in retail at a restaurant/bakery, and a good number of attractive girls eat and shop there regularly. On Tuesday, a group of 4 or 5 young women walked up to my register and ordered some food. They ordered separately but sat at the same table, so I had to take their orders individually. The second one to order was really pretty, so I asked her how she was doing, what she would like for lunch, etc. Don't make a huge deal out of this, it's just my normal routine. She says she's doing well and would like one of our sandwiches. All of our sandwiches come with either chips, a quinoa salad, or a side salad, up to the person ordering, so I asked her which one she wanted. She smiled at me and asked, "What's a quinoa salad?" I spent about 20 seconds explaining what it was, and she just kept looking at me and smiling, then asked, "Now, what were the other choices again?" I told her chips or side salad, and she started to ask, "Now, what's in the side salad?" "Oh, duh. I love the chips here. I'll just get those." We both laughed as I ran the transaction, and I told her I hoped she would enjoy her meal and have a great rest of her day. She smiled again and was like, "Thank you, you too." And then, as she walked away towards her table, she glanced back at me and grinned again. I would say that doesn't scream, "I have a crush on you." That more vaguely whispered something that might have either been, "I think you're cute," or "I'm being polite." Not saying you don't have a chance, but let's not go nuts. Story 57. When they suck your pee-pee. Story 58. Always catching them staring at you is probably the best universal sign. And can these posts just be like, what are the best indications that someone has a crush on you, instead of always what screams enter thing? Why you gotta scream? Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day. Story 59. Kicking dirt at you on the playground, then running away. Story 60. Oh, Jesus. From Dave Barry's Guide to Guys. Let's say a guy named Roger is attracted to a woman named Elaine. He asks her out to a movie. She accepts. They have a pretty good time. A few nights later, he asks her out to dinner, and again, they enjoy themselves. They continue to see each other regularly, and after a while, neither one of them is seeing anybody else. And then one evening, when they are driving home, a thought occurs to Elaine, and without really thinking, she says it aloud. Do you realize that as of tonight, we've been seeing each other for exactly 6 months? And then there's silence in the car. To Elaine, it seems like a very loud silence. She thinks to herself, geez, I wonder if it bothers him that I said that. Maybe he's been feeling confined by our relationship. Maybe he thinks I'm trying to push him into some kind of obligation that he doesn't want or isn't sure of. And Roger is thinking, gosh, 6 months. And Elaine is thinking, but hey, I'm not so sure I want this kind of relationship either. Sometimes I wish I had a little more space so I'd have time to think about whether I really want us to keep going the way we are, moving steadily toward. I mean, where are we going? Are we just going to keep seeing each other at this level of intimacy? Are we heading towards marriage? Towards children? Towards a lifetime together? Am I ready for that level of commitment? Do I even know this person? And Roger is thinking, so that means it was, let's see, February when we started going out, which was right after I had the car at the dealer's, which means, let me check the odometer. Whoa, I'm way overdue for an oil change here. And Elaine is thinking, he's upset. I can see it on his face. Maybe I'm reading this completely wrong. Maybe he wants more from our relationship, more intimacy, more commitment. Maybe he has sensed, even before I sensed it, that I was feeling some reservations. Yes, I bet that's it. That's why he's so reluctant to say anything about his own feelings. He's afraid of being rejected. And